The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
This is the main event.
This is the main event, Mark's podcast. I'm your first host, lifelong wrestling fan, former radio guy, cat dad, and a Coliseum home video exclusive. I am Troy. And with me, as always, is the main event collector and figure hunting warrior. He's the WWE walking wrestling encyclopedia and the Razor Ramon to my 1-2-3 kid. It's Greg. What's up, Greg?
I like to watch video exclusives.
Yeah. The one thrown in at the end of this one.
Like you wanted me to say that.
I like to watch now.
You're like,
video
oh, throw this out there. He'll bite.
It's a T-shirt now on our bonfire store. It's got a VHS tape on there, so you can really, yeah. So people can really confuse the Zoomers that you know in your life. Just throw on one of those T-shirts, they'll be like, "The hell is that?" Like, oh, let me tell you a tale, my friends, of a time where you had to be kind and rewind, or you got charged extra.
Hey, real quick, yesterday we went into a it's called Half Price Books. You got those out there?
Yeah.
My friend's kid saw some old VHSs and he's like, "Oh, look, Dad, they got VHS tapes." I'm like, how the hell he's 10 years old. How the hell does he know this?
Right.
I said, don't give me that crap that people don't, that kids don't know stuff. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it really depends. Yeah. Cause like, well, I mean,
and I know this is not a big deal, but he's also like, he knows the difference between DVD and Blu-ray. So it's like, these kids are getting smarter and smarter, dude.
Yep. Hey, man. I'll say this now. If you take time to actually sit and learn, you've got all the knowledge of the world right at your fingertips. It's called Google, man. Just type it right in there. Or a parent that sits down and actually takes time to tell their kids what things are.
They play Xbox, nice, so they're more of a Bing kind of people. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, different strokes, man. But something else was a different stroke. This show right here, I didn't know what to expect going into it. You
said, gave me a stroke.
You said before we even went into it, you're like, oh God, like you made it really clear you were not looking forward to covering this. But yeah, I don't know. It was something. I don't know. And I usually plan around like big news periods too. I will say this: there is like one really big news story, and the rest of it is just kind of like, it happened.
Yeah,
so, I don't know. There's some stuff going on around this time that we can talk about, but this show in particular, it was the birth of something that didn't really go anywhere, and we'll get into that.
How dare you?
And
you son of a bitch.
There was a certain commentator on the show too. You're a sports guy, so I'm assuming you knew who this guy was on commentary, Art Donovan.
Yeah, it's Art Donovan. Yeah, he was. I think he was an umpire, wasn't he?
Oh, okay. Yeah, God, he was.
How many times? By the way, I didn't put up a counter. I should have put up. I didn't. I didn't think about it until like later. But I should have taken a counter, or like put a check piece of paper every time he said, "Hey, how much does he weigh? What's he weigh?"
I only noticed that a couple of times. And did you notice?
He said it every damn match that has somebody over 250 pounds.
I don't know why. I don't know why he was there, because they didn't really.
The MLB was on a strike, I believe. I believe this is the year.
Well, I know why he might have been there. I don't know why the WWF had him there, because the thing is, like.
Oh, okay, I get that. Yeah, I don't get it.
Because he contributed nothing. He clearly did not know the product, and Gorilla and Macho Man mostly blew him off most of the night. Did you notice that? Like, he was just like talking into the ether, and then.
And Gorilla, bless his heart, man, he was like, "Oh my God, this guy's stupid."
I know.
He goes, "Wait, there's 3 guys out there. I thought it was going to be a tag team thing, like 2-on-2." And he goes, "Oh, that's how it is. This guy's a manager." I'm like,
God, yeah. There were a couple of comments I put down here on my notes that we'll get into. It was just like,
holy
God
crap.
dang it, dude.
Yeah.
I heard
why the hell he was there. Like, you couldn't go and get Tony La Russa, what's his name from the Mariners?
Anybody.
That angry
just
guy?
Anybody. I would have been better. Dude, at least this would have been more entertaining if they would have went out and I don't know if he was commentating at this time. I assume he was commentating at this time. Go out and get Harry Carey, man.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if that world title was made out of cheese, do you think you would eat it? Like, come on,
Will Ferrell wasn't a thing yet, so that would have had to been him.
Yeah, right. No, that would have just been great, man. Just like he would have said the most off the wall, nonsensical BS, but at least it would have been hilarious.
Well,
like
this guy did too, though.
Yeah, well, this guy was just dumb. So I don't know. Look, he might have been smart when it came to baseball. I don't freaking know, but he knew jack all
he was an umpire,
about.
Right? Didn't he say he's an umpire, right?
Yeah, that's what you're
well, I
saying.
hope he's smart because baseball. He's the guy like forcing all the rules.
Well, yeah. Well, that depends on who you talk to about the umpires. But yeah,
I'm an A's fan.
Kind of like. Well, this show here was it was an interesting time in the world of wrestling. I'll say that in both companies. So ECW was like around, but not really much of a thing just yet. 95 was when they really were like, oh yeah, they exist. So
yeah, when crowds of WWE started chanting their stupid initials, and for some unknown reason, Vince McMahon decided to acknowledge them.
Yeah, right.
Thinking they were Roman Reigns or something.
Right. Good. Wow. I see what you did there. But we'll get into all that.
Damn it, pal, they're extreme.
But first, I do want to tell everybody about the sponsor of this here podcast.
Today's episode is sponsored by Mauler Bros Golf. We all want to look good on the golf course, but it often comes at the expense of feeling good. Mauler Bros Golf has polos that look good and feel good. With their lightweight and stretchy materials that hugs your body, you will feel cool while looking just as cool. Their polos are guaranteed to make you look better, but it's up to you to golf better. On a hot summer day on the golf course, there's no polo that you would rather wear than Mauler Bros Golf signature polos. Mauler Bros Golf has a large catalog of polos with designs for those who want a loud design, and others for those that want a subtle and sleek-looking design. They also have fun t-shirts, hats, tumblers, and so much more to make your golfing experience better. Use code BELLYUP at maulerbros.com for 15% off. Listen to me. Listen, as a guy who has worn a lot of polos throughout his life, you need Mauler Bros Golf signature polos. Their polos are a comfortable, slim fit that will make you look and feel good when you're golfing with the guys. There have been way too many times I wore some generic polo shirt out on the golf course and I felt crappy the whole day. My game was off. I just was self-conscious. Not with Mauler Bros. Don't wait to try out your new favorite golf apparel. Upgrade your golf attire with Mauler Bros. Get 15% off at maulerbros.com with code BELLYUP. That's 15% off at MAHLER bros.com with code BELLYUP. Turn heads on the golf course or wherever you wear Mauler Bros polos. Mauler Bros Golf. Look good, feel good, play good.
And now that we're done with that, we're going to get into our first break at hand, where we'll tell you about some of our buddy podcasts and how to get our awesome merchandise, which we mentioned earlier. I haven't put up new designs in a little while, but trust me, there is a huge library on our bonfire store. So
biggest bonfire ever. It's number one. That's what I heard. That's what they tell me.
People tell me, they say, none's bigger. I say, are you sure there might be one bigger? No, sir, it's the biggest. I say, okay.
I said that's what she said.
Yeah, good God. Our newest design, by the way, I put up there, you can either get it in black or white lettering. It's literally in English and Japanese. It says podcast style. So you can go get that on a shirt or a hoodie or something. You can get, our logo, the Main Event Marks logo, you can get in that style. It says
wearing that shirt right now.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you can get the Main Event Marks logo, or like I said, in the style of the Main Event Marks logo, you can get one. You can get a shirt that says
"That is correct."
So, go get that.
I would only buy that if Farley was on there showing off his giant stature with a finger in his mouth.
Good God. Well, fans of the podcast would get it. Other non-fans of the podcast, you can educate them and be like, yeah, it's said multiple times podcast. So go check it out. We've also got the logo in various forms of like the different Royal Rumble logos, like how that is. One says "Going forever, bro." That's another one that you'd really have to.
Bro, we're gonna slit his throat.
Good God. The Figure collecting warrior is on there. It's all.
I've been in a drought. California has rain now. We have all of our levees full, but I'm in a big drought now.
Oh man.
So,
Well, and when things don't go your way, and it turns out you were wrong, you can say, "Well, no, I wasn't wrong." You can show them your #plans changed T-shirt or hoodie. Or if does anybody remember the Becky Lynch T-shirt that said "The Man"? Well, I got one. It says "The Mark." You can rock that around and let everybody know how big of a mark you are. But that's just a taste of the merchandise. Go check that out on the store. We've also got holiday themed ones as well. Raw's War theme. I got a Jax figure of them. All that good stuff. So go check that out. And
even some Star of David stuff
podcast. Yeah. So
it's for the love. Let's hear it for the Jews.
Yeah, Judaism, son. And
for those who don't get it, that was a Herb Abrams thing. So I didn't just say that.
Right. SmackDown logo themed one. Before October comes, you can get your pink ribbon Main Event Marks logo on there. We don't do a lot of like causes and whatever on our merch, but I figured that was a pretty universally agreed upon cause that we can all get behind there. End breast cancer and all that good stuff. So go check that out. Or a Thanksgiving themed one, gobble gobble. But either way, that is all on our Bonfire store. It's bonfire.com/store/main event marks. Go check that out. Now we're going to get into our first break. On the other end of this, it's news and notes time.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/main event marks pod, on Twitter at main event_marks, and on Instagram at main event_marks and at main event collector. Get ready to rumble in your new Main Event Marks merchandise. We've got t-shirts, hoodies, masks, hats, stickers, pins, and much more on our Redbubble store. That's maineventmarks.redbubble.com. You can also pick up some awesome clothing items with the latest updated show graphics on our Bonfire store. That's bonfire.com/store/main event marks. Support your favorite retro wrestling podcast and pick up some cool swag on our Bonfire and Redbubble stores. That's maineventmarks.redbubble.com and bonfire.com/store/main event marks.
By God, somebody's interrupting the Main Event Marks. Sit down, JR. It's just me, Kyle Sullivan, aka Shaggy Von Doom, your host of Here in Puckburg on the Hockey Podcast Network. I know, a hockey show on Main Event Marks. Who would have thought? This is an invasion angle. Somewhere between the Nexus and when WCW tried to invade WWE, somewhere in there. But I'm over here just telling you that one half of your tag team champions over here, Greg, he told his story of his love for the game of hockey over on my show. And if you'd like to hear that story, all you have to do is search Here in Puckburg wherever you get your podcast or on YouTube. In the meantime, Shagamania's got to go run wild on some other hockey show. So, just remember, quote the Raven, nevermore. Take your vitamins, say your prayers, and oh yeah!
The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Find all of our links on our link tree at linktr.ee/main event marks.
And we're back.
We're back.
Do you like your coffee like you like your podcasts? Gimmick and politics free? Well, so do we here at the Main Event Marks, and so do the guys and gals at Coffee Brand Coffee, where they ditch the gimmicks. You see, when you buy your coffee from other roasters, chances are that they've been sitting on the shelf for heaven knows how long. Don't rob yourself of freshness. At Coffee Brand Coffee, they roast to order, ensuring that you get the freshest coffee possible. And as Greg will tell you, that's what counts. Coffee Brand Coffee offers bagged coffee as well as K-Cups, and for the non-coffee people, they offer a variety of teas and cocos. Just click on the link down in the podcast description or go to coffeebrandcoffee.com and use our promo code MAINEVENT, all one word, at checkout to get 5% off your order. That's coffeebrandcoffee.com, and use the promo code MAINEVENT to save 5% at checkout. You cracking anything
One second
today?
here. 1 second.
Oh yeah, I had to gear it up. Oh, that was a hell of a crack there.
What is today? Today's clean cause. Zero sugar, energy, prebiotics. Bunch of
Oh, that's
crap
a real
in it.
thing. Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, something that we aren't cracking on this show, we actually posted a short of we talked about there was no way that Matt Cardona actually liked PBR, and he actually got a comment on that video. Somebody said, I'll give him a shout out. Lonnie said PBR isn't the same as it was in the 70s and 80s. It's not a bad beer now. It used to be
Good
awful.
grief, how far does this go back?
I know, right?
I thought this was a new thing.
He said, plus it's an American beer, I think. Oh no, PBR has been around forever.
A
I just
whole time.
replied, I said, I drank it for years between ages 21 and 25-ish. It isn't a great beer. All right.
And yet you held it up
Well,
for 4 years.
Well, you notice my age there. Early 20s, dumb.
Young
You
and
pretty
dumb,
much-
got it.
Yeah, you pretty much drink whatever's cheapest and right in front of you. So there you go.
I have no opinion. I've never sipped alcohol in my life, but I've heard from everybody who's anybody that stuff sucks. I don't like to just go off, oh, well, so-and-so said it. When you got like 20 people saying this, it must be bad.
It's up there with, I would say, with like Natty Light or Natural Light, if anybody knows. That's one of those that it's like the frat boys get a case of
My
it.
dad used to call that piss water.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the frat boys get it and play beer pong with it. So there you go, because you can get a big ass case for a relatively low price.
Yeah, I think they have it at the Dollar Tree.
Yeah, if you are from Northeast Ohio like I am, the cheap nasty ass beer up there that this one I wouldn't touch is called Genesee. That one is sick. Now you want to talk about liquefied vomit?
That sounds like a Gen Zer from Tennessee.
Wow. Yeah. And if you're from the Pittsburgh area, there's one called
Gross. Hey,
Steel.
fuck Steelers, man. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, hey, you're getting it
It
in
just-
early.
It triggers me. Sorry.
There's one
I don't know
called
how you
Steel.
feel about that. But
Yeah, I second that. But there's a beer called Steel Reserve. There's another one called Steel City Beer. My dad used to call it Steel Shitty Beer. So yeah, it's not good.
probably
Believe me,
said
not
for a
good.
couple of reasons.
Right. Well,
That is correct.
anyway.
Getting everything in it. All right, cool.
Oh yeah. Might as well get into the news and notes at hand, though. There is one big story that we're going to drag out a little bit, but there are other stories in the news too. But let's hit it.
That is correct.
Shut the fuck up, Dave.
Everything that guy just says is bullshit.
It may or may not be. So,
By the way, our last one we did, we had a conversation. I don't know if it's still in it or yet it out, but about my cousin Vinny. So after we recorded, I went and watched it because I started jonesing for it. Man, that thing still holds up to this day, man.
I think they just added it to. Is it Peacock?
I watched it on something. I couldn't tell you what it was off the top of my head. It's on something.
I know. I noticed they just added it to. The only streaming services I have are HBO Max, or well, as the airing of this is just Max, but Max, Hulu and Peacock, and it was just added to one of those. I want to say it was Peacock, but yeah, it's still a fantastic film.
I have everything, honestly, but the only thing I pay for is the Hulu Disney bundle. Everything else is like free with something.
Getting into the actual news here, Hulk Hogan debuted for WCW on WCW Saturday Night on June 11th, with the announcers talking about nothing but Hulk for the entire show. This is at least
Remember Saturday Night with something.
Yeah, right. This is at least a better trend than bringing up a big angle in one segment and then ignoring it for the rest of the episode, which is their usual MO. The debut featured Hogan in a ticker tape parade with 200 fans dressed up in Hogan merch given out by WCW. He then gave a speech where he talked about potentially winning the world title that was held by guys like Gorgeous George and Lou Thez. George,
Potentially.
of course. Yeah, right. George, of course, was never champion, and in fact was never even a heavyweight. Also, the reporters, quote unquote, asking questions were also WCW and MGM staff, by the way, as any real reporters on site were asked to keep quiet. Well, yeah, you don't want to throw Hulk Hogan a curveball, brother.
Yeah, I'm sure that those are legit reporters today with Tony Khan, Triple H post events.
Yeah, like, you can't tell me there's not like a rundown beforehand. It's like, don't ask about this, or, I will say as a former reporter, sometimes they don't tell you, don't ask about this and that, whatever, but it's kind of implied, because if you do ask about anything that's not like what they want to hear, they'll shut you down right away. It's like, we're not talking about
GTFO.
that. Yeah. They'll pretty much shut you down with, we're not talking about that today. And then they will kindly not invite you back. So there's that.
That was the whole interview with Tony Khan and Errol Hawani. Did you ever hear that? I can't talk about that. I'm not talking about that. I can't talk about that.
Yeah, I didn't watch the whole interview, but I did see somebody put together a compilation of him just doing that. And then it's like, well, I can't answer that. But we do have a great show coming up for you this Friday on Rampage. Like, shut up.
No, you don't.
Yeah, it's like, look, I don't know about all that, but I can say you probably do not have a great show planned for us this Friday. I'll just come out and say that.
Don't promote the Wednesday show, which is the show, you idiot.
Yeah. This one, I know this is like, tell me another one. I thought this was super stupid. Hulk Hogan and Jimmy Hart put together a new entrance theme called American Made, which Uncle Dave feels like might be a dig at Lex Luger.
It could be, or it's just a lazy try and remake his classic theme.
Yeah, like never once did I hear that theme and think, they're making a dig at Lex Luger. Because, Lex wasn't built up to be the next Hulk Hogan or something.
Let me clarify something for you too. Watching this show that we're about to review, Lex Luger as the American thing was dying down, dude. Why would they need to take a shot at him in June?
Right. Well,
like it was.
Plus,
I mean, I might even go as far as to say he was dead, not dying, dead. He still came out in the colors and everything, but less people gave a damn then. They did at WrestleMania 10. I'll tell you that.
Well, another thing about this is, like, his theme used to be Real American, and he would come out with the American colors or whatever. That was kind of his whole shtick. Why would this be a dig at Lex Luger, who was doing basically a Hulk Hogan light? Like, that makes no sense. Like, I think it's just, like, a different take on the theme he already had.
I think you're digging to make it make sense, and I don't know why.
Well, by the way, American Made, which Cody will say is a better theme than Real American. So that alone gets him slapped.
It's a banger, I'll tell you that. I don't hate it, but better than no.
I mean, I like American Made, but like, you say that's better than Real American? Like, F off, man. Better than Derringer? Nah.
Who worked there?
Yeah. That's the old road stomping ground is WCW, so. And I know, like, according to him, he didn't grow up watching WWF. He grew up watching WCW.
Yes. You watched it all. Shut your mouth.
He said his dad wouldn't let him, and if he would get mad if he saw he had WWF on TV. He's like, no, you can only watch WCW. But he said he would sneak and put it on WWF to watch Dustin back when he went there. So, I don't know. But WCW is currently expecting a 1.0 buy rate for Bash of the Beach, which would be double the current average for the year and would more than pay for Hogan's share of the show. That would,
and I
also,
I think that happens.
Yeah, I'd have to look that up here in a second. But that would also make it a bigger show than anything outside of WrestleMania or SummerSlam, which many others think is a ridiculous dream on their part. I mean, is it though? It's the debut of Hulk Hogan.
When you got the biggest star in the history of the industry, that's a ridiculous dream.
Yeah. Let's see.
You think Tony Khan had a ridiculous dream he's going to get huge ratings when they debuted Punk?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see.
Don't make me defend the garbage.
Wow. Well, hey, they've sold, 45,000 or no? Didn't they sell 60,000 tickets already? I mean,
yeah, they did.
I mean, this is past that time, so it's probably more by then. But they
It's
haven't
the
even
damn
announced a
UK though,
match.
dude.
Yeah, but they haven't even announced a match, and they drew 60,000. So
When I took a bunch of food down to Skid Row, they were all happy and all took it. I'm just saying.
I mean, we can say, but.
Now that we're on it, though, don't you think this masks the problem? Like, they can't sell 3,000 tickets on a Wednesday here, but over there on one night they can do that. Doesn't that mask the bigger problem?
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I'm sorry, I know business, but
and I know WWE's numbers are better, but even you were saying
that's kind of unfair.
Well, yeah, but even you were saying outside of the US, WWE's been having like great shows, great crowds, like more energetic than here in America and everything else.
This past week with Backlash, spoiler, we record very early. It was one of the hottest crowds ever. I didn't say how to WrestleMania. I was there, but
Well, and then Clash of the Castle, whatever the last show was in Canada. So I mean, they've been the outside of the U.S. show's been doing really well. So I don't blame
because these shows were only here. So when you finally get it, like, yeah, gotta go.
Right. Yeah, right. So I mean, I don't blame them. Yeah, they need to do something to up the business here in America. But we can sit here and but all we want about their numbers and all that
see the
caveats
show
on
first,
it.
so
But
I'm not worried about the damn numbers because I don't see any of that cash. But hopefully the show's good.
right. And I mean, it's a success either way for them, whether the show's good or not. But yeah, obviously,
I disagree. If it's not good, no one wants to go back. That does not make it a success.
Yeah. Well, hey, TNA kept pulling.
You can't
big
celebrate a
numbers
home
over
run in the middle of a game and you're losing the game overall. You know what I mean?
Well, TNA, like we said before, TNA put on okay shows for a while over there and still kept selling out venues. So I mean, I don't know.
Why.
I don't think that they're still, like you said, it doesn't go over there very often. So yeah, it would make them kind of hesitant to go back, I guess, if the show sucked. But I don't know. Usually they're at least pretty.
There's no reason for the show to suck.
No. Hopefully they get Punk back, but we'll see.
I can poke fun of that company all I want, but they have the talent, so there's no reason for it to suck.
Right. By the way, the buy rate for Bash at the Beach was 1.02. So yes, they got over a 1.0. So it was not a pipe dream or a ridiculous dream or anything like that. It was a reality.
I don't know why anyone would even think it was a pipe dream.
I guess just because of the history of WCW, they figured it's like, you can plug Hulk Hogan in there all you want, but it's still WCW at the end of the day, which, I mean, I kind of get that argument.
But going back to AEW, didn't CM Punk come in and like everything went up?
Yeah.
The one guy, it's not football. One guy can make a difference in pro wrestling.
I think it was it Bruce Pritchard? Yeah, I think Bruce Pritchard always said the line about TNA. He was like, you could airlift the Undertaker into the middle of the show and they would still get a crap rating. Nobody would give a damn. So, I mean, there is a bit of that to certain shows, but I mean, yeah, it's not like all of WCW was trash. They had no talent or anything like that. Now, the writing kind of sucked, but
I dare say AEW might have a better roster overall than WCW at that time right now.
Yeah, I'd say that. In 95, I mean, we're going to get into a story about them drawing and whatnot, but 95, they finally made money, man. So
it's weird because that's WWE's worst year ever.
Yeah, and we mock 95 for good reason.
Man, you're kind of opening my eyes there. So they were hot because the WWE sucked. Okay, got it.
I guess it kind of like evened out. Like WWE went down a little bit, they went up a little bit. Like I don't know how much money they made in 95, but they actually turned a profit, which was a huge change. And part of that was we talked about Eric Bischoff canceled all house shows and then started doing, or was doing less house shows at the very least, and he started doing more pay-per-views. I think was 95 the first year of 12 pay-per-views for them? I want to say yes.
I think
right?
so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so right there, you're getting. He said they always made money on pay-per-view. So
which is weird because Hogan wasn't on every pay-per-view. So that should tell you that people were caring more about the product with or without him.
Yep. Hey, we talked about Starrcade 95. He was nowhere to be seen, and the whole show centered.
We don't talk about that, asshole. We were never talking about that again. Now in the archives.
The whole show centered around
tournament, bro.
Yeah, it was like a tournament for between WCW and New Japan for a stupid cup.
Yet another cool cups.
Well, yet another wasted Starrcade, by the way. Like, how many times did they waste Starrcade on Battle Bowl and the New Japan WCW
every
World
year
Cup
up to 96? I want to say. Yeah,
freaking sucked. Nobody gave a crap.
And that was the infamous Hogan Butcher year, wasn't it?
94 actually.
Oh,
so I was going to correct you and say, excuse me, but we had the infamous Butcher versus Hogan match here, so you watch your mouth.
Man.
Anyway, getting back to this.
You got to respect the hustle on that man. Just holding on to Hogan's coattails all the years. You have to respect that.
That's a baller move. Just holding on for dear effing life, man. Eric Bischoff has nothing nice to say about him, by the way. I need to go back and listen to Eric Bischoff's podcast about the Hulkamania tour in Australia that Beefcake was on, and
Of course.
according to Eric Bischoff, he said this is when he really started hating him. He said because it was since it was such a long catered flight and whatever. I don't know if catered is the right word. It was a large private flight, whatever, and there was a bar on the plane. It was one of those gigantic planes. There was an actual like bar in the center of it, and on the flight, Beefcake got up on the bar and just pulled his junk out and pissed all over the place.
Allegedly.
So
Yeah, I can believe that.
yeah, and he was like he said he was Bischoff, that is, said he was furious because it's like
I feel like
wow,
there's far more things to get furious over.
well, he's like, he's making us look like asses. We get this plane paid for, the trip, and this whole tour and everything else is paid for, and we're making good money, and he gets up here and does this crap. It's like real nice. But anyway, so the original plan called for Hulk Hogan to win the newly unified world title at the pay-per-view, but that might not be the case now. However,
Well,
yeah. Oh well.
look, in what world is that maybe not the plan now?
Yeah. Well,
Stevie Wonder could see that.
yeah. It said it. Well, it might not be the case now. Like really.
But Tony Khan would make the right call on that one.
Well, it says Hulk has creative control, so if he doesn't want to do the job,
Wow, there.
he's not doing the job.
Point proven.
Yep. Well, stroke that Fu Manchu, and well, it
Look,
doesn't
every
work for me,
single
brother.
thing you just said fell apart on itself. He might not do it. He's
Yep.
got creative control.
Why would Hogan say, "Yeah, I'm going to come in on my first pay-per-view. I'm not, I'm going to lose to Flair." Oh, you lost to Flair on pay-per-view. What good are you to me now?
That's pay-per-view, not TV, idiot. God.
Still, you lost to Flair on pay-per-view in front of our biggest buy rate yet. What good are you to me now? Because nobody's going to tune back in for that. But anyway,
He
Ted
lost
Turner.
to the Brooklyn Brawler or something. Jeez.
Ted Turner himself came down from the mountain to sign the contract on TV for the Flair-Hogan match, which marks the first time that Ted has involved himself in a wrestling angle. This resulted in lots of mainstream publicity
All
for
it
the
took was
company.
the two biggest stars in the world, huh?
Yeah, right. Hey, Vince, I
Interesting.
bought myself a wrestling company.
Well, pal, I'm in the entertainment business.
Yeah, it's like, shut the F up, Vince. Like, you know what he means.
At the end of the day, was he wrong?
Well, it's like,
I guess in '95 was entertaining, so yeah, he kind of was.
I liked what Jim Cornette said about it. It's like, I don't know why you would call it wrestling, even though we have wrestlers in a wrestling ring. That's stupid.
In wrestling boots, and wrestling tights.
Yeah, right. But it's not wrestling. Don't call it wrestling.
How was that?
Anyway.
What's that idiot, right?
Kevin Dunn.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this resulted in lots of mainstream publicity for the company, although ironically, Hogan still uses all of Vince's buzzwords and verbiage when talking to the press. So
I should wonder if they're Vince's or his.
yeah. It's like, so did he use words like sports entertainment and superstars and crap like that?
I can
I
tell
don't
you
know,
he did use the word belt, so he didn't use them all.
At that time, I don't know if that was such a taboo word, because if this very show we're about to watch, multiple people use the word belt. So I don't think that's stuck
That
in his
holds up your
craw.
pants, pal.
I don't think that stuck in his craw until years later. It's like, dude, why do you hate that word? So
I mean,
like,
I think
he would hate the weirdest things.
I get it, because it's really not a belt. It's but the reasoning is baffling.
Well, actually, the definition of belt, not to any nerd out there, a strip of leather or other material worn around the waist or across the chest, especially in order to support clothing or carry weapons. So it says it's specially as, but it doesn't have to. So at the end of the day, it's still a belt. But it's like, oh, that doesn't sound as cool as championship. Like, yeah,
A belt with a bigger buckle than Jeff Foxworthy would wear.
oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like that, and well, let's not say hospital. Let's say medical facility. Like, people know what you mean, man. And nobody says medical facility. It's like so effing weird. The main problem, among many problems, since Ted Turner bought WCW, is that no one seems to know what the direction of the company is actually supposed to be. It's never
Well, actually,
been close. it's never been close to either being number one or even being profitable through Jim Herd and Kip Fry and Bill Watts and now Eric Bischoff.
Patience.
Right. Yeah. Like Eric Bischoff just took over, man. And he just brought in the biggest name in the business. Calm down, nerds. Good grief. Or, well, I guess it sets up for...
Shut the fuck up, Dave!
I mean, you can use that any time whatsoever about the whole podcast, but...
I mean, that's true, but... this next story broke my heart. So, Max Payne didn't so much quit WCW as much...
No!
I've
never ever been this depressed by a lead into a story in my life. Sorry.
Well,
Go ahead.
He didn't so much quit WCW as much as he got asked to leave. I wonder why.
Isn't he on his way to be Man Mountain Rock?
Yep.
Oh.
Well, man, what a signing that was, huh? Why did Vince think, I can draw money with this guy? Like, what? Oh, what? People can say you're like an evil genius and whatever. You're not that much of a genius. Like, calm down, nerd. Nobody's gonna make money with this guy. All right.
Man, Mountain, effing Rock.
Hell yeah.
I don't know where to slip the effing in with those ones when there's three. So
nobody's gonna make a dime off of him. Or well, I guess
never drew a dime. Cue it up.
Well, I guess that sets me up for.
Those guys never drew a dime.
He strummed a guitar every night of the week. Never drew a dime.
This one, duh. But expect Harlem Heat to get a big push. I'd say.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's gonna happen. Booker
exactly.
2 rings.
He's not exactly Nostradamus with that one, but you know. But now,
I will say this: throughout history, let's be real, there wasn't many black tag teams that got monster pushes like they did. They were probably the first. That's no disrespect to Doom and Rocky and Tony Atlas, but it's real. It's true. So
I was gonna say, the Soul Patrol, Atlas and Johnson, probably the closest I could think of. But then again, I can't really name many like black tag teams.
Well, because there weren't many. So
right.
Harlem Heat was the one.
What about PG-13?
I stand corrected, you ass.
Come on. The greatest African American tag team of all time. Come on. All right. Anyway, running away quickly from that.
Well, yeah, they went on to be a huge thing. Like I said, Booker got 2 rings out of that.
Yeah, right. Hey, yeah, there was Booker T and the guy who was famous for tagging him in.
Who was once in War Games with the NWO as a member of the NWO.
Yeah. Because when I think of, the best tag team you can, or best team you can put together for the NWO, it definitely involves Buff Bagwell and Stevie Effin Ray. Who was the third member of that team?
Well,
Was it Brian Adams?
I'm pretty sure it wasn't even Buff. I think it was Hogan, Hart, and Stevie Ray. That's what made it funny, because one of these things is not like the others.
Was it Fall Brawl 99?
It was 98, I want to say. Yeah.
98. Okay.
I think it was Hogan, Hart, and him. I'm pretty sure.
Team. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That. All right. Well, I stand corrected.
I want to hear.
So
that is correct.
Yeah, it was.
See, had
three
it
teams.
been Buff, it wouldn't have been as funny, because wow, these two. But no, it's just one.
I forgot. I'm pretty sure now in the archives
two of the greatest names in history, and Stevie Effin Ray.
Yeah, because on one team, Team WCW, you got Diamond Dallas Page, who was on a big upward trajectory. You got Roddy Piper. You got The Warrior, which say what you will, but he was a big star. And then you got the NWO Wolfpack, Kevin Nash, Sting, Lex Luger, and then NWO Hollywood. You got Hollywood Hogan, Bret Hart, Stevie Ray. Yeah.
You ass, it hurt my throat and my ribs.
I just why?
Before you ask, I don't know why. I mean, I know you know I don't know why, but there was other people. I mean, they were the only 3 in the NWO.
I mean, I guess you could have got worse.
You might have touched on something with why not Buff.
Yeah, why not
Scott
Buff?
Steiner. Scott Steiner.
Scott Steiner. I mean, I guess he could have gotten worse. Could have got like Scott Norton or Vincent.
I highly disagree with that. Scott Norton would have been worse.
Well, I think Scott Norton was less of a star, and I don't
Depends
know.
on where geographically.
Yeah, I mean, arguably he's a better wrestler, but either way.
It's really unfair to judge him off his WCW run. It's really unfair. I want to be one of those idiots. Oh, you just use Japan stuff, but he is good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying
I hate fanboys like that. You never see him in Japan. No, I only watch American wrestling. Not like anything against it, but why would I need to see him in Japan? You know what I mean? But
yeah,
for kicks and giggles, I did watch some of his stuff in Japan, and he is pretty damn good.
He is. I don't know. It's a different style. You don't have to be charismatic over there. So you know, it is what it is. But
I guess in thinking about it, I do get your point though. Stevie Ray was part of Harlem Heat, and the way Norton was presented was just his bag was muscle. So yeah, there's that. Can't deny it.
Yep. But the WWF now, where King Kong Bundy is telling people that he's coming back in right away. So is Davey Boy Smith. So is Davey Boy Smith and apparently Barbarian as well, who is currently replacing Diesel on house shows due to injury.
Maybe, I don't know about that, but all of those do happen.
Was Barbarian back?
Did they mention Barbarian comes? No. Did they mention he comes back as part of the Head Shrinkers? Replaces Sam Moon?
No, it doesn't mention that.
Which is funny because I don't Sione. Which is funny because he's not Samoan. I think he's Tongan, if I remember right. But,
yeah, as far as I remember. I mean, they're like, whatever. They're all from those islands.
That's probably what they said. Before anybody takes offense, that's probably what they said.
Right, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that. I get it. They're different. I don't know. The only thing I know about their differences is they're not from the same place. Like, they're close, but I don't know. Yeah, it is this time, man. Brian Lee debuted as The Undertaker on WWF Superstars.
Here's just a little example of how 95 is going. Right here. In one single frame. Click!
Yeah, 1994 was an interesting time. And the makeup people did... Yeah.
I keep forgetting we're I watched the right show. I swear I didn't watch 95. I mean, I wouldn't watch 95 to save my life, but I just tell God to take my soul. I don't want to watch King of the 95, but yeah.
Not again, yeah. But the makeup people did an amazing job of making him actually look like the real deal. No one knows for sure when Mark Calloway will be returning to confront him, although it won't be King of the Ring. Well, he got one. Yeah, I mean, unless you really looked at him, look pretty close.
I mean, because they didn't really focus on him with the camera, looking back at it.
Right.
And he got
his hair in his eye, his face.
Really pale too.
Right. And he kept his hair in his face and whatever. Yeah. Yeah. When you keep the hair in your face too, it kind of it obscures the look, bro. So can't really see it very good. But yeah, I mean, when they're face to face at SummerSlam, you can see it for sure. But this one, the WWF versus military tug of war on the USS Intrepid on June 6th drew a whopping 50 fans. The wrestlers won, in case you're wondering. Yeah, they probably put frickin' Mabel in the back of it. And
he was there. I think Bigelow was there too. All the 300 and 400 pounders. It's kind of unfair, but
yeah, it's like, hey, we beat the military by putting the fat asses in the back. But just fall back, bro. Not even here at this time, but you know what I mean.
I think he's about to start.
Yeah.
I think on the contrary, I think he is there, but I don't think he's started yet. He's writing the magazine.
Right. Over to Mexico now, where Vampiro is looking to jump from CMLL to AAA in what would be a major shakeup of the Mexican market. It could come as soon as August. The main problem is that CML owner Paco Alonso owns the rights to the name Canadian Vampire, so that would be a major issue. If Vampiro does jump to AAA, you can expect Black Magic, Norman Smiley, to jump with him, managed by Magnate, who is a $1 Million Man ripoff. This jump actually never happens, so it's all a moot point.
What happened? Plan change?
I guess so. Yeah, there was always a thing like Vampiro and Conan were quote-unquote rivals, but in totally different companies for years and years. So they were like competing to see who could be the bigger star in their respective company, but they didn't really face off a whole lot. Yeah, I think he stuck around at CMLL for a long time. He eventually did go to AAA like later on, but I don't know exactly when. But Uncle Dave makes a dig here because, like he said, that Magnate, he said that Magnate is a $1 Million Man ripoff, and then he's managing Black Magic, Norman Smiley. He's like, where have I seen this before? Where a muscular black guy is managed by a rich white guy?
Well, seriously, where? Because it kind of went the other way, right?
Well, no, I mean, Vincent was, he wasn't technically managed by the $1 Million Man, but, they were a team, sort of. But either way, to the indies now. Tim Horner, who was part of the founding group behind Smoky Mountain Wrestling, has left the company after playing the lame Kendo the Samurai character for the past few months. Fear not, as the role...
How does that lame? That sounds like money.
Right. Well, fear not, as the role will continue with Bobby Blaze in his place.
Oh, thank God. Who?
Right.
Who?
But, yeah, Tim Horner and Bobby Blaze.
Tim Horner, here's a who.
These two guys are like two of the whitest guys you could find from the South. And you're having them in a character, Kendo the Samurai. As we know, there are a lot of famous samurais from the southern United States.
Is it samurais or is it just samurai? I don't know how the plural goes.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like deers and deer. Like there's no deers. I don't know how that goes.
Oh man, anyway. I one day at work I floored a coworker with that. I'll never forget that because we were talking about little cups that shots of espresso go in. They're called demi-tots, right? And then he had multiple. He goes, "Oh, here's all the demi-tosses." And just being a smart ass, I'm like, it's the same plural, like just multiple. I'm like, like deer. And he just started laughing. Who the hell says deer?
Everybody.
You want me to say fish?
Oh man.
Oh.
Well, keeping up in there though. For all time's sake, Jim Cornette had his face shoved into a cake by the Thrill Seekers on this week's Smoky Mountain Wrestling TV.
He said he would eat so much of that as it was going into his face every time.
Can you blame him?
No,
he probably
it's funny though. It's like, hey, show a cake in my face. I'm gonna eat half of it.
I'm going in mouth first.
Whoa! Prom night flashback. Okay.
Good Lord. Jim Cornette is also cutting costs by reducing payouts from $150 per show to $400 per week flat, although baby faces still make good money by selling merchandise at the tables.
Gimmicks.
$400 per week. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Now, are you
proper term
3 days a week? Because then you're already taking a loss on that. If you're only working 2, you're gaining more, right? If I'm doing math.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, $400 per week back then in '94. I guess that wasn't horrible, but does he is he covering travel expenses, or are you paying for those?
Oh hell no!
Because that sucks. Although I think he.
Well, wait.
Preferred,
when you're only Smoky Mountain, though, aren't you in like one spot?
I mean, the same geographical location. So I don't know. I think he preferred everybody to kind of live close. So because of that, because he couldn't afford to pay for your travel. So I mean, there were certain big stars he would pay for. Like, I mean, if he booked Arn Anderson or something like that, I'm sure he would pay for his transit and all that. But
Undertaker went down there a couple times.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels, I guess, defended the IC title against the Buddy
Ricky
Landell.
Oh God, what I said would have been better.
Yeah, right. How dare you? Buddy Landell was the Nature Boy that everybody remembers. When you hear Nature Boy, you think Buddy Landell. No? Okay.
Oh.
Last story I have for you is right up your alley, man. Here we go. Herb Abrams is promoting a show on September 23rd in Las Vegas with a main event of
Blackjack Brawl.
Yep, now in the archives. Oddly enough. Well, the main event is Dr. Death Steve Williams versus Sid Vicious, plus Warlord and Barbarian versus the Killer Bees, and Tito Santana versus Dan Spivey.
Shut up and take my money.
Did we do that show?
Yeah, Blackjack Brawl.
So we didn't do the other one, right?
What other one? The beach
Yeah.
brawl? No, we did not do that one. I don't know if I want to put myself through that. I don't know if I can mentally handle it. But
I gotta
always...
again plug it. Everyone needs to go watch the episode Dark Side of the Ring. I still think it's the best episode they've ever done.
It was fairly entertaining. Look, I can only take so much mental abuse. Okay, yeah, this was the very show, September 23rd, 1994. The MGM. Check this out for anybody that's curious. It's at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. You know, the fairly famous one. They drew 600 people.
And you know how much that thing holds? Tell them how much that thing holds.
It's more than 10 times that. I know that.
I think it's 17,000 if I remember correctly.
Let's see. MGM Grand Garden Arena. Let's see. Capacity. Let's Google this. 16,800.
Close enough.
Yeah. So, yeah. I've used this term before. It looked like a piss hole in a snowbank. There's no way you can paper that, man. No way.
No, that's the entire arena, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much.
And going off the documentary, he did this because of WrestleMania 9.
Right.
But the problem is, you're not WWE.
Right. Well, hashtag plans changed, by the way, with some of this, because the card, actually, there was like 500 title matches on the show. None of these titles
like
amounted to
AEW show. Hey, you got a title. You got a title. Everybody gets one.
Yeah, he was basically the Jewish Oprah out there, you know, just handing them out like candy. And
with his awesome boots that everyone was there to see. Wait till you see these boots. People are going to lose their mind.
We had matches like Dan Spivey versus Johnny Ace, Mondo Guerrero versus Jack Armstrong. I know what you're thinking. No, I don't know who he is. Sunny Beach versus Dr. Feelgood. That one right there put the asses in seats.
Who's Dr. Feelgood?
I think we talked about it at the time. No clue.
I know Sunny Beach is. He was one of their top guys.
Yeah, and that's saying something. Cowboy Bob Orton versus Finland Hellraiser Thor, who was
that is Ludwig Borga, right?
Right. Yeah, I was about to ask you what the hell his name was. The Karate Kid versus Little Tokyo for the Midget World Championship. Real name. Samson versus the Irish Assassin.
Oh yeah, we're putting this on the doc. We're watching this.
Oh, we've seen this already. It's now in the archives. Steve,
I don't really remember it. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, Blackjack Brawl. Everybody now in the archives. Go check it out. It was one of our favorite podcasts to record, actually, because it was so ridiculous.
Clearly, I forgot it all.
Steve the Wild Thing Ray, who thought
that was another one of their top guys.
Right. He thought he was Shawn Michaels, taking on Tyler the Lion Mane, who played Sabretooth in the first X-Men movie.
Yeah.
Candy Divine versus Tina Moretti, who is Ivory, by the way. And then, Killer Bees versus the new Powers of Pain, which is Warlord and the Power Warrior. I don't know who the Power, because as we mentioned, Barbarian is not there anymore. Jimmy Snuka
Power Warrior, the guy Hawk used in Japan to be part of the LOD when Animal wasn't there?
I thought so. I think this is a different person using the name, if I remember correctly. So it was even lamer. But
as if that's possible.
Right. Then we get Jimmy Snuka versus Cactus Jack. And yes, the main event was Dr. Death Steve Williams versus Malicious Sid Vicious.
Yeah. Fresh off headlining WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Right.
So, this happened. This happened, everybody. But anyway, Uncle Dave calls this the George Sahorian Benefit Show. God.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
More Dark Side of the Ring, by the way. Go watch that episode too.
Right.
Steroid episode, by the way. It's the last episode they produced as it's recording. Because as of this airing, I believe it's already back on TV.
Oh, well, there you go. On a channel that's about to be shut down, I think. Yeah. Either way, that does it for the news and notes. On the other end of this, we're going to get into the event at hand. And man, what an event it was. We'll get into all that.
Yeah, well, calm down.
We'll get into all that on the other end of this.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
What's up, everybody? I am the hardest part of the ring, the host of the Apron Bump podcast. Ugh, another wrestling podcast. How many times can I listen to fans tell me who needs a push, who doesn't need a push, who brings Vince's coffee these days? Enough! The Apron Bump is about the journey. It's about nostalgia. It's about discovering new forms of wrestling to really tickle your pickle as a wrestling fan. The podcast brings you reviews of wrestling events all over the world, whether it's WWF, WWE, WCW, ECW. We even cover the golden eras of Ring of Honor, Progress, TNA, and more promotions in the future as well. New episodes every Wednesday. Bump Day, yeah? Go to apronbump.com or go to your favorite podcast platform or YouTube and subscribe today for the most diverse, fan-friendly wrestling podcast in the world. I'm Hard.
Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Find all of our links on our link tree at linktr.ee/Main Event Marks.
And we're back.
We're back.
It's WWF King of the Ring 1994. The date, June 19th, 1994. The tagline, the perfect Father's Day card. Oh, yeah. Happy
If
Father's
you hate
Day.
your father.
Happy Father's Day, Dad. Here's some shit. Dude,
I'm gonna
think
be
he'd
honest. Though, I remember
happier.
watching this with my dad. We ate it up, man. It was great, but
Well, I was going to say, I think after watching the show, he would have been happier getting socks. But either way, I kid. Sort of. But the venue was the Baltimore Arena in Baltimore, Maryland. Man, the Ravens.
yeah. I mean, I don't
Good.
particularly have a problem with them, but I know you have a huge problem with them. But
Yeah. Hey, you got your Steelers dig in there. I had to get the
yeah, but
Ravens.
that's universal. This one's just personal. See, now you're just being selfish.
Well, hey, it's anybody in the AFC North will agree with me. All right, and anybody who they may have. I don't know. Do they have any like rivals out there? Like we have the Browns don't like the Broncos because the AFC Championship games back in the '80s that they beat us in. I don't know if the Ravens have anything like that.
I think that's too new, honestly. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. Who was it they beat in the Super Bowl? Maybe
The
they
Giants and the Niners. So.
Okay, well, yeah, maybe those teams hate him. I don't know. And by the way, screw both of those teams for allowing the Ravens to win. Damn it! You had one job.
I can dedicate 20 minutes to saying screw the Niners if you want to do that.
Yeah. Hey, a certain mutual friend of ours that listens to the show will take offense to that.
You know, he knows it's not even really geographical rival anymore because we're not even here, but it's historic.
Yeah. Well, the attendance for this one was 12,000. The buy rate was 0.73.
12,000 poor souls or didn't know what the hell they were doing that night. Yeah.
Yeah, right. The pay-per-view buy rate was 0.73, which amounted to 185,000 buys. And you just said you and your dad were a couple of
we
them
bought
buys.
it.
There you go. But we get a view of Baltimore during the day, which, you know, hey, you guys want to see a crap hole during the day? Here you go. Before we see...
Wow. Is it really?
Yeah, as far as I know, Baltimore's a crime-ridden hellhole. So,
wow.
I mean, I don't know about back then. I know now it is. I wouldn't be freaking caught dead in Baltimore, not just because I hate their ball team. Well, if there's anybody from the Baltimore area, you know, let me know. But yeah,
Is every damn marquee city in our country a crap hole?
I mean, pretty much. Some are better than others, but yeah, pretty much.
San Francisco, Chicago, Cleveland, Manhattan.
Washington, D.C.
You know, honestly, I've been to Orlando. It wasn't that bad. But I think the marquee city in Florida might be Miami, though, to be fair. But
right.
Yeah.
Orlando has its areas, and it depends on like how much you're willing to spend, where you're willing to go, all that kind of stuff. Because like my mother-in-law went down there before, and that's we were talking about that. It's like, yeah, most of their hotels are that are affordable are we'll say crap. I think crap is an appropriate term. and everything costs.
Yeah, I left one off, by the way, that you and I went to New Orleans. Man, that was the trip.
Yeah. Yeah, that was something. And I'm not sure I ever want to go back to Chicago. I went there enough, seen it, done it.
I've been there twice. It was something.
Yeah, I'm good. I think I've seen enough.
I'll tell you one marquee city that was nice that I had a lot of fun in was Toronto. Not America.
Been there.
That was a nice city. That was probably the nicest marquee city I've ever been to.
I've never been outside of America, so. But we now see Jeff Jarrett, Owen Hart, IRS, and Bam Bam Bigelow. What a motley crew.
All showing up. Gallery.
All showing up to where the tournament bracket is posted on a cork board or whatever. They keep moving their names down the bracket. Oh, God, who the hell let them in?
Jeff Jarrett swears it's going to be him and Owen. You can just tell how good of a friends they were. It's hella sad.
Yeah, I know. But after the opening package, we go into the arena and hear Ricky Medlock, whatever, from the band Blackfoot, singing the U.S. national anthem.
Yeah, they were
just
digging for somebody, huh? Somebody sing it.
Dude, I looked it up. I was like, they didn't have a single, they didn't have any singles around this time. They did have a brand new album, but they didn't have a single on the entire album. So, I can't name one single song by Blackfoot. Really? And were they big in the Baltimore area?
I know Switchfoot. Now, they're badass, but I don't know how Blackfoot is.
Yeah, right. I saw Switchfoot live, by the way. Anyway, commentary is, as we mentioned earlier, Art Donovan, Gorilla Monsoon, and Macho Man Randy Savage. Yeah.
Look, no disrespect, but, Macho Man wasn't exactly great announcing.
No.
He was entertaining, but.
He was made to look like an expert right here.
I compare it to Jericho in AEW. He's not going to win any awards or anything, but, man, he's entertaining as hell. You listen to him.
Yeah, right. But the first match is a King of the Ring tournament quarterfinals match. It is Bam Bam Bigelow with Luna Vachon taking on Razor Ramon. This goes about 8.5 minutes. Razor flicks his toothpick at Luna after Luna gets in his face. By match 1 of the night, it's obvious that WWE didn't give a damn if commentary was even good or not because Art Donovan was clearly going to suck, and he did.
And according to Uncle Dave and his nephews, wasn't Monsoon the worst announcer in wrestling every year?
Pretty much.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Yep. Well, he asked here, he was like, "Oh, why is that woman yelling?" And freaking Gorilla was like, "Well, she wants her man to win." He's like, okay, I get it now. Dude, what the hell, man?
Gorilla kicks dirt on you because you're being an incompetent ump. That's exactly what she's doing.
Yeah, right. Well,
I keep going to Lou Pinella. I can't think of any other a-hole managers in that era.
In the end, Bam Bam goes up top. Razor pulls him off and rolls him up for the pinfall win. Uncle Dave gave it a 1 3/4. I give it 2.5. It was average. What say you?
I gave it 2.
It was okay. Nothing great.
Once again, Razor Ramon just how damn good he is. But just saying.
Bam Bam was really good, but this match wasn't indicative of that. It was just okay. But we go backstage where Todd Pettengill,
flashback again.
Good God. Todd Pettengill and his hell of a mullet is standing by with IRS and Mabel.
I'm glad you said that, by the way, because I'm going to be pissed if you didn't acknowledge that mullet.
Hell yeah. Gotta love that mullet. I got so sad when he chopped it off. What are you doing, man? Now I don't give a damn about you.
To quote Matt Cardona with Karrion Kross, you cut your hair off like that, beautiful. You're a piece of shit.
Yeah, right. But he's standing by with IRS and Mabel. IRS trips all over his promo. Did you notice that?
I did.
What the hell?
So what happened? Is the teleprompter going off Obama or what?
Yeah, he short circuited. He's like,
my jib.
But Mabel says that IRS better not be worried about Razor. He better be worried about him. Oscar now walks up in a big ass white blazer and says that this isn't personal. It's just business. And now we've got another King of the Ring.
My God, how a year changes things, huh?
Yeah, right. But it is the King of the Ring tournament quarterfinals yet again. It is IRS versus Mabel with Oscar in his corner. Here's Mo, by the way.
Dude, he's hurt. I just passed, I just passed all this in my binge watching. I just passed it, but he's hurt. Yeah, he's gone for a long time. Then he just shows back on Superstars, and they're there. Not Not that he deserves some big, hey, he's back, but he just was back. Just, he never gone.
Well, for people that don't know, they were called Men on a Mission, MOM, for Mabel, Oscar, Mo, and all that.
When I was a kid, man, I ate this up. I loved them.
Yeah. I mean, they were, I will say this. If I was going to pick any time that I actually cared about Mabel, this was it. He still sucked
over as hell.
Role, but
listen to that crowd when he comes out, man. Over as hell.
He had a cool look, bro. The group was over, the rapping, the dancing, yeah. So they turned him heel. Yeah.
No explanation.
Yep. Just
I always wondered. Some heel turns back in the day. I always wonder why. Like them and Tatanka were my top two. I'm like, why?
Well, you know why, Greg? Because
me, right?
Yeah.
So, but IRS comes out. Oh, this goes 5.5 minutes, by the way.
The excuse will always be lack of heels, but what you look at them, them is what you see as the top heels, really?
Well, he's a big, mean, nasty monster heel. It's like, why though? Like,
because when he turned heel, not a person gave a damn, dude.
Right? Yeah. And
not to speak ill of the dead, but no.
Nobody wanted to see that except one person, Vince McMahon. So I don't know. Oh, I gotta put him at the top of the card. Have him taking on.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be very wrong here, but I think he's like the first black wrestler to really get a real shot at the title. Pretty sure.
Maybe. Yeah. Very well might be.
It's kind of historic right there.
Too bad he sucks.
I mean, I'm not going to count the one-offs of like Dennis Brown, people like that. But I mean, like he got a major thing at SummerSlam. It was a huge thing.
Yeah. It was a big feud. People try not to remember it because it was so freaking awful. But yeah, I mean, it did happen. Whether we want to remember it or not, it still happened. Oh God. Anyway, but so IRS comes out cutting a promo on the crowd about being tax cheats. This was literally every promo he ever did. Like,
dude, there's a part coming up, and not in the show, but when he goes to the grave of somebody, says, just because you're dead doesn't mean you're exempt from paying taxes. I'm like, well, what are you going to do? Have his force skills pay?
Have you ever heard of the death tax, Greg?
Hey, God, can you put his soul back in his physical body? He's got to pay his taxes.
Yeah.
Doesn't work like that.
Yeah, well, like I said, have you ever heard of the death tax? There you go, man. Anyway, but Art Donovan literally asks, is this one of the wrestlers? He looks like a businessman. Good God.
Oh, man. Gorilla's like, well,
gimmick.
Be careful or he'll come over and at you.
Yeah, right. Like, Art, his name is IRS. That's a gimmick. God, like, he didn't even get semi-educated, and he's on commentary all night. And it's not just a throwaway Raw.
Not only not get semi-educated, but he clearly doesn't even watch the damn product, period.
Right. Dude.
Now, I understand it would take a while to educate him on this, but then it begs the question, why the hell is he here?
Yeah, right. But Oscar then wraps Mabel to the ring. Mabel almost gets jumped by IRS to begin this one, but...
I wish they had Oscar to put with the Acclaimed. Oh, man, that'd be great.
Yeah, right. Mabel actually rolls through with a small package at one point, and I'm shocked IRS was able to kick out of that. There were a couple times where I'm like, dude, Mabel's just putting his full weight on him and looked like he was struggling to kick out. But
that's funny. I have a note on that. I'm like, man, this match right here shows just how great Rotunda is.
Yeah, well, it explains why he was dripping sweat at the end. But in the end, IRS hooks Mabel's leg and the bottom rope at the same time. This is the weakest cheat cover I have ever seen, but IRS still wins. Uncle Dave gave it a half a star. I gave it a star and a half. What say you?
I gave it 1.
Yeah, it sucked.
Damn, and you can't accuse IRS of not working his ass off here.
Yeah, he got, bless his heart.
Yeah, them working boots on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so I can ease up on him a little later in the night, but we'll get to that. But backstage, we join Jim Cornette, Mr. Fuji, Yokozuna, and Crush. Cornette says that tonight we're going to see new WWF Tag Team Champions. I didn't know this was ever a team, but here we are.
Wait, you really didn't?
Yeah,
this is the whole catalyst for Crush turning on Macho Man because he didn't save Crush from being bonsai drops. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I forget about that. Huh. But Mr. Fuji gives a pep talk to the wrestlers. Then they chase the cameraman out of the locker room. We now go to yes.
I wrote down on there, I'm like, man, imagine that. They acknowledge there's a cameraman in there.
Yeah, right. He's not just like walking in.
I think Cornette and Kevin Owens are the only two in history to acknowledge a cameraman being there.
Yeah, right. But we now go to
Sammy, you ever find it weird that every time we're talking, there's a damn cameraman here with us? Like, I can't believe you said that on TV.
It reminds me of, I think it was the second Goofy movie where Pauly Shore's character, he's like, you ever find it weird that we're all wearing gloves? And then like they stop and they all look at their hands.
I remember that.
Yeah. We now go to another King of the Ring tournament, bro, quarterfinals match. It is the Native American Tatanka, as opposed to, the Chinese Tatanka. Yeah. The Chinese rice farmer Tatanka.
It makes me laugh too that they always hammered that at home. It wasn't just like a moniker.
Yeah.
It's almost like nowadays with Seth freaking Rollins. Like they hammer it home, let you know that's part of the name.
Right. The Native American Tatanka. Like, okay. Yeah, because there are so many, I might get it confused. But he's taken on Owen Hart. This one goes 8 minutes, 18 seconds. So, with more brilliant insight, Donovan wants to know how much Tatanka weighs.
Yeah. I think he already said it multiple. I think he said it with Mabel too. I completely forgot to mention that. But yeah, he's a large man. What does he weigh? Why is he not playing football? Why is he doing this?
Oh my god! Why is he in your stupid company? He's wasting his time here. Like,
all right. By the way, not to bring up bad memories, but are the Ravens already a thing at this point?
No. I think next year. I want to say February 9th, 1996 is when they officially started.
So we're in the Browns' last season now. Okay.
Yeah. But Tatanka actually jumpstarts this one on Owen. During the match, we get a side-by-side video of Razor Ramon and IRS being held apart backstage. Yeah, more IRS on the show, man. That's what we need.
Dude, he was on every damn Raw at Superstars back then. They were going hard with him.
Yeah, Ted DiBiase isn't even here anymore, is he? Oh, no, he still is, right?
He's still there. He's about to be reforming the corporation here soon.
That's right. I remember. Yeah, because 95, he gets Nikolai Volkov in there.
That's where it all starts, actually, which is a kind of a weak start, if you ask me. No disrespect. But
and the 1, 2, 3 kid.
Well, that's way later. But
yeah.
Nikolai's just sitting in the crowd. Like, hey, Nikolai Volkov, one more day wrestlers here. Ted DiBiase just goes up and buys him. I'm like, random? Like, what about this guy that said, I need to get this guy part of my group?
Mail order Russians. I think there's a website for that.
Yeah, they screen heavy too, by the way. They turn me down.
Yeah.
But I digress.
Anyway, in the end, Tatanka goes for a sunset flip, but Owen drops to his knees and gets the pinfall win. Uncle Dave gave this 3.25 stars. I gave it 2.5. Thought it was average. What say you?
I gave it 2.
Yeah, it was fine. I'm like, damn, why did Dave like this so much? Like, Owen was great and all, but believe it or not, he's got better stuff coming up.
In a shorter match.
Yeah, right. By the way, I like Tatanka. I thought he was really good. I would have been perfectly cool. I would have been perfectly fine with them slapping the world title on him back then. Like,
man,
he was going through his winning
how much of a breath you got to take to say that? The King of the Ring, the Native American Tatanka.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, if they would have made Tatanka when he was doing his winning streak stuff, if they would have pushed him to the moon, made him world champ eventually, I don't think anybody would have batted an eye. But, nope, something derailed him along the way. I don't know if it was when they had to release him for a little bit because of that legal crap he got roped into. We talked about it on another podcast. I don't remember the timeline.
He ended up being innocent, right?
Yeah, a woman accused him and somebody else of like assaulting her in a hotel. Come to find out, it wasn't him at all. It was one of the heavenly
bodies, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Gigolo Jimmy Del Rey.
Allegedly.
So it was not Tatanka.
Yeah, it was allegedly. But, no disrespect to the deceased.
Right. Well, we go backstage now with Todd Pettengill standing by with Diesel and Shawn Michaels.
Todd Pettenzu.
We see. we see footage from an edition of The King's Court where Shawn attacks Bret Hart, helping Diesel drop him with a jackknife. Diesel hasn't found his footing with his promos just yet, so Shawn does most of the talking. I feel like
coming.
Right, yeah. I mean, by 95, he's definitely like locked in.
And the world champ.
Right. But like right here, you can tell he's still playing the heel character. You know, he's not like, letting it flow normally. But either way, when asked if they know who the Hart family member is who will be in Bret's corner tonight, Shawn says it's clearly not the Rocket, and no one in that family likes each other, so they're not worried.
So going back to the news section real quick, this is perfect time to think this is where Bulldog's coming back, right?
Right. That's honestly because I forget timelines exactly. I was full on expecting this to be the British Bulldog. Spoiler, it was not. We'll get to who it was here in a bit. And that will set up one of your favorite impressions of mine. But anyway, up next, we get the match that
this might be where it originated, actually.
Yeah, mostly. Well, that and who.
Yeah.
But now we go back, or we get a match now that you could have seen in 94, 96, 98, 2004. We get Jeff Jarrett versus the 1-2-3 Kid at in a King of the Ring tournament quarterfinals match. It was about 4.5 minutes. You and I joked about this. I don't remember what TNA show it was where we were like, dude, Sean Waltman is taking on Jeff Jarrett in a match that you could have seen on Raw in 1994. Like, good God, man. But and by the way, you had brought this up on a previous podcast. I never saw this attire for 1-2-3 Kid with the Harley Davidson ripoff logo.
Yeah, I'm surprised it lasted as long as it did.
Yeah.
How the hell did they not get sued?
I've seen a lot of people rip off that logo and be like perfectly fine with it. I'm assuming they get away with it because of parody. Like, that's the only thing I could think of, but I don't know. But in the end, Jarrett goes for a figure 4, but 1-2-3 Kid rolls him up with a small package for the win. Uncle Dave gave it 2.25. I gave it 2.5 stars. What say you?
I think, what did I give? I gave this 2, yeah. I really enjoyed this match, but he's got a better match coming up here in a second.
Right.
Yeah, something we just said.
Right. This was fine. Nothing, to write home about. But there wasn't a whole lot out of Jarrett at this time that I was like, man, that was such good stuff, pal. But Jeff Jarrett is so angry after the match, he hits 3 pile drivers on the Kid. When referees try to get in Jarrett's way, he keeps shoving them away and does a couple of diving punches to the Kid before leaving. Keep that in mind, by the way. He just took 3 pile drivers and 2 diving punches. Oh, we'll get to that. We're now shown a commercial for the new generation of the WWF. And now we go backstage.
Which just means Hulk Hogan and Macho Man are either gone or on their way out.
Yeah, right. We now go backstage where Todd Pettengill is standing by with Bret Hart. Pettengill keeps calling for the video of Bret to be being jackknifed, and it takes forever to start, to the point of where he's like, well, I guess we're not getting that video. Oh, wait, here it is. Like, oh, God. Not a well-oiled machine back then. But Bret says that he doesn't know if he can kick out of the jackknife, but he knows that Diesel is a long way from hitting him with it again. Okay. Like, this promo, man. It's like, okay. Great insight.
No one ever accused Bret of being a good promo. So,
look, he had conviction in what he was saying, even if what he was saying was bullshit. But Bret says,
so Uncle Dave,
pretty much. But Bret says that he's going to chop Diesel down to his size tonight. When asked about who the family member accompanying him tonight will be, he says he won't tease Todd, and he'll find out with everyone else. Jeez, Todd, get out of his business. But up next, this
is 94. So I guess at the time it could have been Bruce or Keith because they were just in the Survivor Series.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I was honestly like racking my brain. I'm like, it's got to be Bulldog, right? I was like, I can't think of anybody else. Like, I don't think it's one of the other ones because I don't remember them.
At the time, I'm like, I know who it is as the Bulldog. I remember at the time.
Sure as hell was not going to be Smith because, look, I'm going to preface this by saying
allegedly
he was the crazy one in the family, so nobody was going to invite him here. But either way,
the crazy one. Everybody's got the crazy one.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, he's He's the uncle that, when he shows up to the family get-together, you just don't know what the hell's going to happen. And not in a fun way.
He's Terry Funk, and he was the crazy one in the On Hawaii family.
All of them? I don't know. But this is for the WWF World Heavyweight title. It goes just shy of 23 minutes. It is Bret Hart defending against Diesel, who has Shawn Michaels in his corner. This is when Diesel's theme was literally just an idling semi-truck blowing its horn. I don't know when he got actual music.
When he debuts holding the title, he just beat Bob Backlund for.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're like, God dang it, pal. We can't have the world title coming out to a truck horn.
I was listening to his podcast recently. Did you know that they were going to get George Thurgood's Bad of the Bone for him, and then they decided not to pay for it?
Really?
Yeah.
That'd have been awesome.
So that was the plan, and then they decided, we don't pay for music, pal.
Dumb. I mean, I liked his theme, and I could see that. It was like kind of that same style, but
kind of had the swagger, you know.
Yeah. I liked in TNA, he came out to a remix of Kashmir. That was pretty sweet. But so Diesel and Shawn had some sweet ass mullets right here, by the way. Like,
hell yes.
This was like just blaring foghorn out of your Camaro, kind of
driving down the road, Mississippi.
Yeah, heading down to the corner store to get yourself a carton of smokes, a tall boy, and a scratcher.
Hang down in the van by the river.
This is this was.
I don't know what the hell that has to do with it. I just want to say it.
This is hardcore white right here, man. Like, hey man, we got to pick ourselves up a case of.
I gotta be honest though.
I
think Shawn's was more sweet.
His was longer, but I don't know. Diesel's was more like styled, like that picture of that guy I sent you from Comic-Con. It's kind of like that. Yeah. Hey man, you told me to get a picture for you.
Well, you owed me one. I sent you one a couple days prior. One was in the grocery store.
Yeah.
I don't know when that became a thing, by the way. People don't know what we're talking about. We just send each other mullet pictures all day.
Yeah. So
I gotta get a picture of this.
If you happen to be near us and you have a mullet, your picture will be taken when you're not looking. But
don't worry, we're not assholes. We don't post it on social media. It's only within our text chat. So.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't do that. That's not right. You don't do stuff like that. But.
I mean, I will say it's not like we're like shaming anybody. We're just kind of like, damn, look at this mullet. Freaking sweet as hell, man.
The goal is to find the sweetest mullet ever. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's
a never-ending thing.
Right. Oh, man. He been going full on Joe Dirt with it, man.
See, that's the mullet.
Exactly. Him or Billy Ray Cyrus, one of them, too.
That's the man who made the mullet, I believe. I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah.
I bet my life on that.
But this is one of my favorite Bret Hart attires where it looks like white paint splatters all over it. And
I don't think they've ever made this in Mattel.
I know. It kind of sucks. But you know who he got in his corner, man? He got that fucking Rhino back with him tonight. Yeah. Got the Rhino job, that big bastard.
Yeah, because I remember when Pritchard first said that, he said 95 or 94, Stu called him, Vincent said that. So this has to be it, right? This is when he came back, right here. This has to be where that originated.
Hey, yeah, you got any room for the Rhino? The big bastard, he's doing good. Yeah, you think you can find a spot for him? But yeah, man.
What does Stu have on Vince, by the way?
It's just one of those, like, they said Vince had like a soft spot for certain like old school promoters that were friendly with him back in the day, and Stu was one of them.
And so he used all of his kids. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And his kids.
Yep, he's still using Natalia to this day. So there you go. But yeah, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, man, he's back in the WWF, and
the Hart Foundation's back.
Yeah, that's a thing. But during the match, Shawn hit a clothesline on Bret, and Neidhart chases him around the ring. Ref intercepts the Anvil, though, and it allows Shawn to hit Bret again. What good is Jim here, man? Like, and I know we're setting up for something.
Why? Did you lose a player on TV or something?
Basically. You wore a mask and called yourself who on TV? What good are you to me now?
That's coming up.
Yeah.
About a year, I think.
Oh, we still haven't hit that yet? Gosh,
oh, we're far away from it.
Oh, man. So
still got to do the whole thing
get
with,
worse.
Yeah. He's going to disappear. For some reason, Yokozuna's going to take his place, which is really weird. And then he's going to come back as that, I think.
Yeah. But Shawn Michaels ends up distracting the ref long enough for Diesel to expose the steel of a turnbuckle. He goes to drop Bret on it, but Bret reverses and hits Diesel's face into it. Bret goes for a sharpshooter, but Shawn distracts him. Diesel.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that the big dude trips over his own dick, by the way.
Yeah, right.
Seems to be a running theme on our show.
Unfortunately. Diesel cheap shots Neidhart outside the ring at one point, distracting everyone long enough for Shawn to hit Bret with the IC title. This leads to a near fall. Anvil attacks Shawn outside of the ring. Diesel hits a jackknife on Bret. And then Anvil jumps Diesel, leading it to a DQ.
And you may be asking why, right in front of the ref, who was looking right at him. Hold on.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, it's coming. But I don't know, this was pretty meh until about the last 4 to 5 minutes, in my opinion. Uncle Dave gave it 3 3/4 stars. I give it an even 3. What say you?
Okay, I gave it 2. This might not be fair because I'm like, I know what they're gonna put on at the Royal Rumble in a couple of months.
Right.
And that might not be fair, but this was not good.
Yeah, they had a couple matches in '95 that were really good.
Yeah, the Survivor Series is probably the best one.
Right. Well, this one, I'm thinking like Diesel hasn't really, just like the promos, he hasn't come into his own yet. Bret was clearly leading this match, but he did a pretty good job. It was proof that Bret could have a match with anybody of any size, and Diesel hung in there.
Bret led the match is kind of like saying, "Hey, Babe Ruth hit a home run."
Yeah, right.
Like, no shit.
Probably like Ric Flair back in the day. Like I said, Ric Flair, the heel would usually lead the match, I guess, but they would take the majority of the beating, or actually they would give the majority of the beating after like the first minute or so. But after the match, Jim Neidhart storms off to the backstage area, allowing Bret to get double teamed by Diesel and Shawn Michaels. Finally, referees and agents rush the ring and back Diesel and Shawn away. Bret gets a standing ovation as he leaves.
And then we're about to get a Vince Russoism here.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. Yep. We now go backstage to Todd Pettengill standing by with Jerry the King Lawler, the Burger King. Lawler talks about how big Roddy Piper's mouth is. He says the King of the Ring was named after him, and he says Art Donovan is proof that wisdom does not come with age. I like that one.
All right, who here is going to call that man wrong?
Yeah, right.
You've been watching the show, right?
Oh, yeah. I tried not to pay attention to much of his commentary because it's painful.
He's been MIA in the past couple of matches we reviewed.
Yeah.
Clearly, we both tuned him out.
Yeah. Pettengill says that Piper will donate a portion of his earnings to a children's hospital in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Lawler says that he's going to make sure that tonight none of that money goes to those sick kids. Man, this is like that when we reviewed Judgment Day 04, where I was like, who's not going to boo the giant racist? Like, here, who's not going to boo the guy that's like, F them kids? But up next, it is Razor Ramon taking on IRS in a King of the Ring tournament semifinals match. This one went 5 minutes, 13 seconds. IRS must have wiped himself off and changed his outfit because he was dripping sweat earlier. Like,
he doesn't exactly have intricate ring gear, so I'm pretty sure he carries like six different copies of it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just pack a bunch of slacks and button up white shirts in your suitcase, and there you go, man. He dresses like look, rumor has it he was the inspiration for what Dwight Schrute looked like on The Office years later, but that's just a rumor. Minus the suspenders. But IRS walks to the ring, cutting a promo again. He says Razor wears fool's gold and is a tax cheat idiot. Again,
yeah, that's where it all started with his gold.
Yeah. Good God. Anyway. So Razor jumps him outside of the ring. So this Diamond Stud versus Captain Mike Rotunda match is pretty sloppy, to be honest. Also, nobody cares, bro. Could have heard a mouse pissing on cotton. In the end, Razor hits a Razor's Edge on IRS for the win, and now we actually hear the crowd. Uncle Dave gave it 3/4 of a star. I gave it a 1.5 stars. Pretty much sucked. What say you?
1.
Like, damn, like Razor.
I don't think in the history of this show I've ever said Razor Ramon was in the worst match of the night. This might have been it.
Yeah, Razor looked very tired here, and IRS just like I've never accused Mike Rotunda of being
ironically, the guy carrying the 500-pound man was less tired than Razor.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but the thing is, like, I feel like Mike was just like super, or IRS, whatever you want to call him, super sloppy here. I don't know what the hell happened. He just like.
I just said it, dude. He's tired from carrying a 500-pound load.
I guess so. And Razor sure as hell wasn't giving him any help. It's kind of like that, not every, we always talk about not every match or they can't all be first round picks. We always say that. Just like, that night that Goldberg won the world title, he had to face Scott Hall first to get to Hollywood Hogan later in the night. And going into it, I was like, well, Razor's going to have, or Scott Hall, whatever, is going to have a good match with Goldberg before he gets to Hogan. Nope. That match sucked. Sloppy as hell. It freaking sucked. I'm like, what the hell happened here, man? Something just didn't click.
What happened, you guys?
Yeah. Backstage, Bret Hart storming around, opening doors, looking for Jim Neidhart. Vince Russo isn't even here yet. Keep that in mind, people. Like this.
And for those who don't know, a Russoism is someone's always in the back destroying or being loud and abrasive, looking for somebody else.
Yeah. Always storming around backstage, opening doors. Yeah. Where are you? As if they're going to be like, over here.
Come hurt me and kick my ass.
Yeah, right. Then we go to Todd Pettengill, who says he doesn't know where the 1-2-3 Kid is and doesn't even know if he'll be able to compete up next. About that.
He's at the local medical facility.
Oh, my God. Speaking of isms.
As opposed to the old medical facility that's not local. I think I was talking about, I want to say it was either Apron Bump or Wrestling Addicts. We were talking when they brought that back a couple weeks ago on Raw. I'm like, that's what's always got me. Why do they call it local as opposed to the one that's 2 states over?
Well, God dang it, pal. It's more specific that way. Oh, man. But up next, the polar opposite of what we just watched. It is Owen Hart versus the 1-2-3 Kid in a King of the Ring tournament semifinals match. Goes about 3.5 minutes. The Kid actually shows up after a bit of delay in his entrance, but Owen Hart instantly hits him with a baseball slide drop kick and then dives to the outside. Kid doesn't seem hurt at all in this one, flipping and flying around. He gets a bridging Northern Lights suplex on Owen, but Owen gets his feet on the ropes to break it. In the end, Owen blocks a Hurricane Rana with a powerbomb. He then locks in the sharpshooter for the submission victory. This has got to be the greatest 3.5-minute match ever.
Yep.
Uncle Dave gave it 3.25 stars. I gave it 3. What say you?
Yeah, I'll concur. About a star a minute.
Yeah, right. That was great. I was expecting nothing. I'm like 3.5 minutes. Because I looked at the time codes before going into it. I was like, there's no way they can really pull off anything here. Man, the match of the night. Weird to say. But either way, we now go backstage with Roddy Piper changing for his match. Piper doesn't even remember what city he's in and shows off that he has a Hershey's bar in his suitcase. Okay. He then cuts some meandering promo where I have no idea what the hell he's talking about.
So he is Roddy Piper, okay.
He even talks about various people named King in his promo.
What the fuck?
Dude, this whole build-up was stupid, dude.
What is going on?
The whole thing was like, this was the origin of live via satellites. This whole feud. Piper was like never on Raw, ever.
Yeah, because if you go back, all of the video, he would like record. He would set up a camcorder and record himself in like his living room or his office or whatever, just talking crap. Yeah, and then he would just send the tape in, and then they'd put it on Raw. Weird. And then here, it's like, Piper's got some weird-ass promos, man, but it's like, dude, what the F was he even saying here? Like,
he got that good stuff out in Portland, dude.
Yeah, right. Well, he was born in Canada, and I don't know if it was all legal up there at this point, but either way.
Yeah, any corner liquor store here in California, dude.
Yep. But right here we've got the Head Shrinkers. It is Fatu and Samu with Captain Lou Albano and Afa in their corner. They're defending the WWF World Tag Team titles against Yokozuna and Crush with Jim Cornette and Mr. Fuji in their corner, meaning that there are a total of 8 people out here for this one effing match.
Half of them are related.
Right? Yeah, I was going to say, like, freaking, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 Samoans out here.
And then the Hawaiian guy who's a Japanese sympathizer. Which, and by the way, that reminded me, like, I was going to ask, why is there like a Japanese sympathizer thing in 1994? Maybe 1944, perhaps, but 94?
Yeah. God dang it, pal. They're not from the United States, so they're evil.
That's right. That's right. It's a real mentality, folks.
Kind of like the French. I mean, I get it. French are, the stereotype is that French are pretty arrogant assholes.
Allegedly!
So I can kind of get that, but it's like, they're also anti-American. Like, whatever.
Everybody's point.
Yeah, I don't know. This goes for 9 minutes, 16 seconds. Oh, just like all the Canadians, man. They were all anti-American. Like, yeah, because there's that big feud there. Like,
even though you're feuding America and cashing American checks.
Right. I literally nothing Canada. Like, I don't spend much time thinking about them, and I'm pretty sure they don't spend much time thinking about us. So it's not like there's a rivalry going on there. Like, oh, yeah, that country to the north. Like, you know what, Canada? That was our land originally, and we said, it's fine, you can have it. Like, we sold it to you on a discount because we're like, we're good, dog. It's cold up there. And you guys were like, hey, this is our hoose now.
We still got Wisconsin.
Don't remind me. Anyway. But, so Lex Luger comes out in the dumbest red, white, and blue striped long singlet.
How dare you?
He looked like he was about to start sweating to the oldies here.
He never wears this again, by the way.
No, I'm like, what the are you wearing? Good grief. But he storms to the ring.
He knew nobody was watching this show, so he experimented.
Yeah, that's it. He storms to the ring about halfway through this match, distracting Crush. Why? No clue.
They're feuding.
Okay. Well, yeah. So he's got to come out and, like a true babyface, come out and distract him in the middle of the match, I guess. But in the end, Fatu hits a Yakuza kick on Crush for the win. Uncle Dave gave it a 1.5. I give it dose. What say you?
I gave it 2.
Yeah, it was.
Well, this would have been a really decent match on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, right. Nothing major here. But after the match, Crush gets out of the ring and gets into a fight with Lex Luger. They get into the ring, and the head shrinkers help Lex fight Crush off. So, yeah.
That's a real sentence.
Right. We go backstage now to Todd Pettengill standing by with Owen Hart. Owen says that Bret may have won last year, but he's a loser this year. He says he's going to win it all up next, and then sarcastically wishes his dad a happy Father's Day. Like, so it's kind of weird. He's like, oh, by the way, happy Father's Day, Dad. I'm like, so are you being an asshole? Like,
yeah, because the whole thing was his dad favored Bret.
Okay.
Which, let's be real, was Owen Hart wrong on that?
Yeah, well, hey, I don't know. He also, I think he had a soft spot for all of them. He always fought to get the Rhino a jab. So, and that wasn't even his kid.
Well, hold on.
So.
The Rhino was his little girl's husband, though, to be fair. Daddy's girl.
Yeah, I guess so.
Come on, keep throwing him. I'll keep cracking him out of the park for you.
Yeah, I guess so. You never hear stories of, hey, yeah, you got a spot for the Bulldog. Hey, he's doing real good up here.
Well, no, you never hear that, but how many times did he return? So, just putting that out there.
But yeah, that's what I'm wondering. It's like, so did Stu really put in the call? He's like, hey, can you get the Rhino and the Bulldog a jab, or was that more of just like Bulldog got himself a job?
And he didn't give a damn about Bruce Keither Smith. And I might be wrong here, but I was the only one Vince never fired, right?
Yeah, God dang, pal, you want me to get one of your other sons a job? Nah, they suck. It's okay. It's just a rhino. Trust me, you don't want any piece of this. Well, there was one of them that actually had another job outside of wrestling. I think he kind of gave up on wrestling. It was, I think, might have been Keith.
One was a firefighter, know that. One was a teacher.
Right. Yeah.
A firefighter in Canada, though? I mean, although that sucks.
Throw snow on it.
As a recording right now, I just saw a big, huge wildfire in Calgary, ironically enough.
Somebody say something about fired up? Sorry. Anyway.
I just didn't know you can even have fire in Canada. Just.
Anyway, up next, it is Razor Ramon versus Owen Hart in the King of the Ring finals. This goes about 6.5 minutes.
At this point, I wrote down, if you go back and look at the brackets and you didn't know what that was going on, how do you not call these two for the finals? It's obvious as hell.
Razor gets back body dropped outside of the ring at one point, and Jim Neidhart runs down. The referee's distracted by Owen as Neidhart acts like he's checking on Razor, but actually clotheslines him and beats him down before throwing him back in the ring. Owen hits a top rope flying elbow drop to get the win over Razor. Uncle Dave and I both gave this dose stars. It was meh. What say you?
I gave it 2. Now, how do these two have a better match?
Yeah, Razor was off his game tonight, man. Like, dude,
everybody wrestled 3 times, to be fair. I know it's kind of a weak defense, but...
Yeah, but none of his matches were all that good. So, I don't know. But after the match, Owen and Jim beat Razor down and hit him with the heart attack. Finally...
Gotta be an afterbirth.
Yep. Hold that note. Finally, referees hit the ring to break it up. This is like the 3rd or 4th afterbirth of the night. In 94. I'm like, what the hell, man? Now we go backstage where, of all people, Raymond Rougeau is standing by with Bret Hart. I'm like, yeah, get the Canadian to interview the Canadian.
Whoa. He's a French Canadian. He's from Montreal.
Still a Canadian.
Well, I know Canadians that say Montreal is not Canada.
Yeah. Well, it's like if you're in the South, the people are like, hey, Florida is not the South.
Like if you go to Texas, they tell you Oklahoma is not part of America. F Oklahoma.
But anyway, Rougeau asks Bret for Bret's thoughts, and Bret says that he can't believe what just happened before walking off.
I made a note here. I'm like, it's kind of funny that like 6 years earlier, these two were like heavily feuding, and they were both part of different like tag teams.
Yeah, right. On commentary, Macho Man and Gorilla Monsoon completely ignore Art Donovan before sending it to the coronation ceremony. Yep. Yeah, because he asks, because he leans in, he's like, so answer me something. He's like, were you two guys like this when you were when you were wrestling? And then they like blow him off and start talking about something else. Because that had nothing to do with what they were talking about. And they just they were like, you know what? I don't have time for your bullshit. And they just moved on. But Todd Pettengill.
How much? They got a nice little bonus in that check for working with him.
God. Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, put an extra 0 on the end of that. But Todd Pettengill.
Extra 0. I want an extra 9 on the end of mine. Matter of fact, put a 9 right in the middle.
Yeah, right. But Todd Pettengill's the man with the mic. And President Jack Tunney is the man that's supposed to put the crown and cloak on Owen. However, Owen stops Tunney and says that he only trusts Jim the Anvil Neidhart, telling him to crown him. Owen then demands that Pettengill get on his knees. Get on your knees, Teddy. Once he's crowned, Owen says about 3 to 4 times in a row that he is the King of Hearts, lest we forget. Pounded that.
Gotta market that shirt, dude.
It's just like, I'm like, was this Owen's call to say it so many times, or was that one of Vince's where he's like, say it, damn it. Say you're the King of Hearts. Make sure they remember. Like, it seems like every time there's a new nickname, he's like, say it again. Say it one more time. He's big hungry.
Of all the stuff you could have said.
That's the one I remember.
All the ones you could have said.
That's
you
the
could
one
have said Seth freaking Rollins, for Christ's sakes. But no, you go with Big Hungry.
I mean, that's in second place. I just remember when they tried to get him get Ryback over as Big Hungry, Michael Cole said it about every other second. He was like,
Big
"Oh,
guy.
big hungry. He's big hungry. Oh, it's a big hungry Ryback. Ryback is big hungry." Like, shut the up. We get it already.
They kind of do that, not so much, not like beating you over the head with it, but they kind of do that with Johnny Hungy and AEW.
With Johnny who?
That guy from the Dark Order, Johnny. What's his name?
I have no idea.
The little bald guy with the short arms.
John Silver?
Yeah. They call him Johnny Hungy.
What?
Yeah.
That's
Johnny Hungy.
weird.
And they will say it 100 times. No, maybe not 100 times actually, but enough to where you know that that's his nickname.
Yeah, X-Herman is bad with doing that. He's got
Actually,
the
that's one
Vince's.
Jim Ross I'm hearing, but
Oh God. Well, you know, I don't know if he could have made it on the football team in college.
he's out of the
Anyway.
Dark Order University.
Nobody gave a damn. But anyway, we're going to take our second to last break here. When we get when we get back from break,
I forgot
It is-
there's one more match. Good Lord. And it's a
yeah,
doozy.
they
Sorry.
just ended it right freaking there. 2 years in a row, by the way, they do that. But at least in '95, I can't remember what the main event was, but I'm pretty sure it was better than the finals.
Sid and Bigelow against Sid and somebody. Oh, you're talking right? It's Diesel and Bigelow.
I don't remember
No,
off the top of my head.
Diesel and Bigelow because Bigelow's already gone. It's Tonka and Sid. I want to say that sounds right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Bigelow and Diesel versus Psycho Sid and Tatanka. Yeah, so and if I remember correctly, that match sucked too. But
There's no way it's worse than what we're about to talk about. There's no way.
no,
'Cause I don't remember off the top of my head, but
Well, it was also better than Mabel versus Savio Vega in the King of the Ring finals. So,
who was just on WWE TV, by the way.
yeah, right. We're gonna take our second to last break. We'll be back for the main event right after this.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. My name is Thomas, and what's your name?
I'm Alan. Yeah. We're brothers.
That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot that.
Mother, same mother and father.
Your room was...
We shared a room.
Shared a room.
We shared a room.
Thought I knew your face.
Yeah, we go way back, mate. Yeah.
We should do a podcast then.
We have.
We do a podcast.
We do a podcast.
What's it called?
The
Broadcast.
Yeah, that was planned.
Yeah, well.
What do we do?
Well, we cover all different things in the world of pop culture. We're talking about comic books, we're talking about professional wrestling, and we're talking about movies. Go back and watch classic retro wrestling events, the likes of WWE, WCW, and if you do like that, you can check us out on Apple iTunes, also on Podbean, Anchor, and on Podknife. Also check us out on Twitter at The Broadcast. That's BROKAST. Nearly stacked up the ending.
No, it's all right. Good on you.
Yeah. Instagram also at The Broadcast Podcast.
Remember, we don't spell it with a C. We spell it with a K.
Sorry, mate.
Take it easy.
The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Find all of our links on our link tree at linktr.ee/Main Event Marks.
And we're back.
We're back.
So after his entrance for the main event, Jerry Lawler cuts a promo before the match, telling the crowd to kiss his feet. He also points out the Maryland governor and says he's living in the past, and Macho Man voted for him 3 times. Okay.
Oh.
He then, you see, he like chuckled about it. He's like, huh.
How did he know?
He then says the sick kids Piper promised his winnings to won't get a single red cent. Finally, Roddy Piper comes out behind a real Scottish bagpipe band. Walking with Piper is some skinny guy who was apparently embarrassed and beaten up by Lawler on the King's Court. Piper puts a cheap-ass crown on the guy's head, and between the two of them, they drop the line of, "We came here to chew bubblegum and kick butt, and we're all out of bubblegum." And now we get the match.
That was original.
Yeah, right. This is
Now
Jerry the King
available on
Lawler
VHS.
versus... God. This is Jerry the King Lawler versus Roddy Piper in 12.5 minutes. Piper starts off by throwing
By the way,
his
hold on.
clothes.
Do you remember earlier in the show, you talked about the commercial they ran? The new generation. Nothing screams new generation like Piper and Lawler headline the pay-per-view.
Yeah, right. was kind of like you and I made fun of TNA when we were like, man, nothing screams the new face of professional wrestling like Sean Waltman and Kevin Nash and Jeff Jarrett. But
I guess the only thing they had going for them here was these two guys were, well, technically made famous in WWE, at least on a national level.
Right, yeah.
I mean, because Lawler, it's really how you look at it. But
yeah. Lawler was a big star in his area for sure. And then, like, he was like one of those guys, like Cornette always points out, he was like one of those that was like WWE could never get him. And people were always like, why wasn't he scooped up? And it basically came down to Lawler was making a damn good living, not traveling far, living in Memphis. And then he was like, yeah.
Well, he was literally the king of Memphis, too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he said, Cornette said Lawler came into the locker room when he was passing out checks one time, and Jim got a glimpse of Lawler's check, and he's like, "Oh, is that your paycheck for last week?" And Lawler chuckled. He's like, "That was my paycheck for Monday." Yeah.
To this day, I think that's the only person he's never ragged on his show. He loves Lawler. Well, maybe Shane McMahon too. I think he loves those two.
Yeah, I think Jim Cornette wants to fillet freaking Jerry Lawler, but yeah, he's obsessed with him. But either way, Piper starts off by throwing his clothes at Jerry Lawler and then jumping him. The young guy, who commentary keeps referring to as either the kid or the youngster, gets pulled into the ring by Lawler and is defended by Piper. In the end, the young guy...
I imagine this is what Tom Holland's going to look like when he grows up a little bit. This kid right here.
Oh, God, I hope not.
Spike hair and all.
Something took a bad turn for Tom Holland then. In the end, the young guy at ringside pushes Lawler off the top rope when he tries to cheat. Lawler rolls Lawler
Which,
up.
by the way, is a swerve, bro. I don't know if anyone knows this. Because he's actually Lawler's guy. He brought him in to make fun of Piper.
Yeah, right. But Piper then rolls Lawler up and wins. This was an incredible snoozer. Uncle Dave gave it a star.
This was a main event, by the way.
Yep. Well, Uncle Dave gave it a star. I give it a star and a half. What say you?
What do you think I gave it?
Star?
If that.
Dude, going into it, I knew what to expect here.
These are two of the most legendary names in history, by the way.
Right. And I wasn't surprised by this only because I had heard, I don't know if I've ever seen this match, but I'd heard about it and how infamously bad it was. And I was like, oh, God, really? Because if I wouldn't have known, I would have been shocked as hell because these two are really good. So I'm like, how do you have a match that bad with these two?
And in about 2 years, Piper's going to go have some great matches in WCW. So there's that.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just, I don't get it, man. What the hell went wrong? I guess it's just one of those something didn't click, you know? Nobody's really to blame.
Well, also, this shouldn't even have been happening.
Yeah. I mean,
a new generation. The 40-year-old, the 50-year-old, how the hell they were.
I mean, I get that. I definitely get your point. However, I don't know, on a dream card, I would have taken this and been like, oh yeah, that would have, that's a dream match right there between these two.
1994 though?
Yeah, I mean, maybe not, a main event match. I figured this would have been a good, middle of the card match. But it wasn't even that. This would have been boring no matter where you put it on the card. It was just made worse by the fact that it main evented.
Do you think in 1970 the 1927 New York Yankees would have done some serious damage?
Good God. Well,
that's the greatest team of all time. Way past their prime. Do you think they would have done anything?
Well, the difference here, I would say, is Lawler had good matches after this. Piper had good matches after this. Something just, I don't know.
Yes, but can you tell me with who?
I mean, Lawler had some decent matches with multiple people, so...
Yeah, but
Piper,
name off specifics. I'm it's probably someone younger than them, is my point.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, they were always the elder in the
match. You go.
But...
That's my point. It's probably someone younger, so... It's not a knock on these two, mind you, at all, but it's just a fact of life.
But anyway, after the match, Roddy Piper chucks Jerry Lawler out of the ring before hoisting the skinny guy up on his shoulders. Pyro blows off, and the show comes to a close.
Look like Macho Man Liz. It just looked weird.
So weird. Yeah. It's like, what the hell's going on here, man?
Is that his son
and
or
why?
What?
Yeah. At first, when he came out, like, from a distance, I was like, that can't be his son because he wasn't that old here.
I think
if anybody watches,
his son may be like 2 years old at this point.
Yeah. I can't remember his name. I think his name is Colt.
Yeah.
Something like that. If anybody watches, if anybody watches that, was it the A&E special on Piper?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. I freaking love that. But either way, that does it for the show. We're going to take our final break of the podcast. When we come back, we're going to tell you final ratings and what's coming up next week on the show.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan McCarthy, and I'm the host of the No Credentials Required podcast. Start your work week with the Monday Drop-In, where I talk about the sports beat in the Capital District, also known as the Muddy 518, as well as Metro New York sports from an upstate point of view. I also give a life lesson from a weekly sports story, so you might learn something from that. I also have a midweek podcast where I interview different sports personalities and talk about a wide array of topics. Take a listen and subscribe on your preferred podcast app, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Also check out our social media channels on Twitter and Instagram, BellyUpNCR, and Facebook.com/BellyUpSportsNCR. We're a part of the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network in association with Godzilla Media. No credentials required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports.
Hey gang, it's Commissioner Cooper of TSS Fantasy. We are the fantasy show of the people. Expert fantasy advice, free contests, leading expert medical and legal analysis, and most importantly, you. Interact with us on all social media platforms or check us out at tssfantasy.com. You can hear us on Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and many more. Check out the fun today and be a part of the most interactive fantasy show around. TSS Fantasy, the fantasy show of the people.
Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Find all of our links on our link tree at linktr.ee/Main Event Marks.
And we're back.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Final ratings time.
God knows why.
Man. Come on, man. You got to buck up. It's the end of the show. Good stuff, pal.
You're right. You fixed my whole attitude by reminding me this horror fest is over. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
You always got my back. I appreciate that.
Well, Internet Movie Database gave this thing 6.4 out of 10.
Hey, too high.
CageMatch.net gave it 6.56 out of 10.
Hey, too high.
I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. B. Yeah, I'd say about a D. What say you?
Solid F minus.
F minus? Damn.
This might have been one of the worst shows we ever watched. WWE,
for sure.
At least.
Yeah, it was definitely
This
boring.
sucked, man.
Yeah, that main event was such a disappointer. Like, damn.
Main event, the announcing.
Yeah, the announcing sucked too.
All the short matches, even though a couple of them were decent, but
Yep, whole thing sucked.
I feel like this was like I'll give you a second to edit. This is like was it horse shit booked on acid?
Yeah, there you go. Oh, man. Well, that does it for that. It's our first show of June, man.
Oh, yeah. What a way to start.
Yeah, right.
And you can look at it one of two ways. Are we starting low to go high, or do we just peak?
Well, I mean, next week may not get a whole lot better because next week we're going.
It will get better.
Well, next week we're going to the Great American Bash 2000 for WCW.
Yeah, I'd actually say that is better.
I've never seen the show. It's Vince Russo's one and only Great American Bash. The main event is Jeff Jarrett defending the WCW title against Kevin Nash with Ernest the Cat Miller as a special guest referee.
Yeah, dude, in 2000, the Cat was all over WCW.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know, he'll tell you, he's the greatest.
Yeah. And Vampiro takes on Sting in a Human Torch match where you literally have to set your opponent on fire, bro.
It's that match.
Yeah. Ric Flair takes on David Flair. God.
It already killed off the mystique of father versus son at this point, by the way, because this is the second time he had turned on Flair. And each time Natalie was a big shock.
Well, and we get Hollywood Hogan versus Billy Kidman with special guest referee Horace Hogan. Hell yeah. Scott Steiner.
You know what this is? This is NWO versus the Flock, if you think about it. It's crazy.
Yeah, right. And we get Scott Steiner versus Rick Steiner and Tank Abbott in a handicap asylum match. Woo!
Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot about that.
More stipulations, too, man. Table match of Shane Douglas versus The Wall. A boot camp match of G.I. Bro taking on Sean Stasiak. An ambulance match, Mike Awesome versus DDP. Oh, man.
That match might surprise you. Hold on.
We got a tag
Something
team.
happens in that match that, like, holy crap. I don't want to spoil it.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I'll have to go back and watch. So we also get a tag team match. The winners are number one contenders for the tag titles. It's Chronic versus the Mamalukes.
The winners are the number one contenders, and the losers are all of us.
Yes. Well, hey, man, the opening match for the Cruiserweight title, it's Lieutenant Loco versus Disco with a Q.
With a Q, yes.
Yeah.
I think he's in the Filthy Animals at this point, or trying to be.
If anybody remembers Cisco, he was like a flash in the pan, and he did a song called The Thong Song.
That was the singer of Drew Hill, right?
I think so, yeah. Yep. And he was in that movie Snow Dogs, if anybody watched that.
I only remember that because I played the hell out of that song when Rush Hour came out.
Yeah, the Thong Song was everywhere during this time, and they're like, Disco, Cisco. We'll just put a Q.
Bro, what's the name of that African-American guy, bro? He uses a Q instead of a S and a K.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he exactly used African American. He might have used something else.
Allegedly.
I don't know, and I don't want to know.
Either way, that does it for us today. Next week will be. It'll happen. But yeah.
God
anyway.
willing.
Yeah. So we'll all.
You'll be promising next week will happen because tomorrow's not even guaranteed.
Yeah. Well.
I don't get too far in the weeds on that one.
I don't know if it's God willing that we get to Great American Bash, but yeah, either way.
Thank you for joining me. If we get to Great American Bash, that may be devil willing, but okay.
Yeah. Thank you for joining me today, Greg.
Yeah, thanks for doing this to me.
Oh, you're welcome. Hey, if I see it, so do you.
Oh, yeah?
We'll see it all. We'll see you all next week for WCW Great American Bash 2000.